Hello, David.
Hey, Tanya. Did I say that
Hi.
right?
You did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice and regulated, calm. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is that good? Or do you get excited sometimes? Or
I would say given the nature of this um vessel that I reside within, I pick up on energies of others, people's, places, things. So I've got this expanded observation. So I'm very conscientious about self-regulation. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Putting that before me first. I started a me first movement a couple of years ago that
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't be good to anybody else if I didn't take care of myself first. And I am a
Okay.
mother
Makes
and
sense.
run a business and yeah, run a
Okay.
couple businesses. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
And where are you?
I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Ah, East Coaster. Awesome. Were you born
Yeah.
there?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got snow?
It all melted actually.
Ah, nice.
So that was different because it was cold for about a couple of weeks, and there was a lot of snow, and then it
Yeah.
melted. So because it's like about 45 degrees out now, but yesterday it was like 50. Like the last few
Yeah.
days, it's gotten warm enough to melt all the snow.
Awesome. Who knows what happens next, right?
Yeah, you never know in Michigan. It's crazy.
Yeah. And how long have you had the podcast?
Uh, it's kind of a funny thing because I started the podcast maybe about 2 months ago,
Hmm.
and I was just talking myself on various things I studied myself because I have a like heavy science background. Um, and I'm kind of analytical, and so I talked about
Oh, I knew
stuff.
that.
And I started off like that, but
Yeah.
along the way, I learned about right brain stuff and intuition and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I've tried to balance it out, but I
Yeah.
still probably have a propensity to still be kind of a little bit more logical. But I understand it's more to life than just what's in the box. You know,
Hmm.
everything can't be defined by the box or by whatever parameters you come up with because you just can't capture everything in reality with parameters. It always boils down to you having a paradigm, I guess, and a paradigm is only a approximation of reality or experience. So,
Right. And
so
each of us have a very unique perspective as well, based on our beliefs and how we were raised and what we choose to focus on. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And then I learned that everybody has a different experience of reality, and if you look
Yeah.
at quantum stuff, then you'll see that everybody's actually living in their own universe or their own reality on a certain level.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a beautiful soul. Yeah. I can feel your energy. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Well, I can
Yeah.
feel yours too.
Absolutely. It's nice to connect with like-minded people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because it can be kind of kind of lonely
Right.
of trying to talk to people about something on a higher level than just the mundane stuff.
Right. And how did you end up with Gnostic TV?
That's funny you asked that. I uh, I was looking for some hydrogen peroxide, food grade hydrogen peroxide, and I found
Hmm.
that they charge so much when you ship it because I think because if it's over 35% hydrogen peroxide, it has a hazardous materials handling fee.
Yeah.
So I looked around in the area and I found this store. It's called the Detroit Water Station, and so they had the gallon jugs of
Yeah.
35% hydrogen peroxide. And so I
Hmm.
met one of the guys that worked there, and he turned me on to this product called Acia. It's a like a
Yep. I know
redox.
it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
ASEA. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's funny. And so his upline guy was this guy who I think he had made all this money doing it, and he doesn't do the meetings or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So then the guy, because he was trying to tell, 'cause I talked to him a little bit about the AC, but then he's like, well, I kind of do all this other stuff too, but I guess it didn't resonate with me or whatever at that time. So about a year later, I went back to the Detroit water station because in addition to getting the hydrogen peroxide from there, I also get alkaline water.
Hmm.
So that gets you going regularly because you have to, buy it. I don't have my own ionization thing.
Hmm.
So I went there one day, and the guy who got me in, he said, "Hey, man, Jay wants you to call him." And so I called Jay, and he gets to talking about, "Hey, I can help you. You should set up a network." But before that, I had started my podcast maybe about a month and a half, or 2 months before, where I would just
Hmm.
talk. And so the more I talked to him, he told me, "Hey, instead of just doing a podcast, you should do a network."
Yeah.
And so going back and forth, so now he's training me on how to set up a network. So I'm in the process of setting up my network. So it's going to be
Awesome.
more than just a podcast. I think I can still have an element if I still want to run off at the mouth myself.
Hmm.
But he told me, hey, start interviewing people. So I'm kind
Nice.
of learning another, skill at that. I'm kind of okay with doing that anyway because I've done public speaking before.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of resonate pretty good with people, so I deal with people pretty well. So and it's real interesting interviewing people. It's like so far, like everybody I've interviewed is like just amazing. It's crazy because he did tell me. He said because I asked him, I was like, well, what taught you the most in your journey to developing your network? And so he said, I learned the most by far from all the people I met and interviewed.
Yep.
And now I'm starting to understand why, because man, you just learn so much and it's just amazing. Just dealing with so many amazing people. It's crazy.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I've been doing lives on Facebook forever. I've been doing
Okay.
public
Okay.
speaking forever. I also I'm in the process of releasing an interior exterior house painting company, and
Okay.
I'm trusting the process. I basically just said, show me what to do, whether somebody buys it or somebody absorbs it, like whatever
Mm,
needs to happen next, so that I can focus full time on Adventures for Connection and a lot more just being. So I've been located here for 20 years with this business. My daughter's
okay.
20. My daughter's
Okay.
20, so I started it
Okay.
when I
Okay.
had her, and yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it's a chapter closing, but I used to go to these networking meetings and you had to get up and speak, and
Okay.
I've I've just never been afraid. Like I've been on stages with like hundreds of people in the audience. I'm just not afraid. I have no fear
Okay.
around it. So I'm like,
Okay.
most people are like, oh, I don't want public speak. I'd rather, oh, it's next to dying. And I'm like, oh, it's fun. It's fun to read the room and the energy and get them involved and yeah, and co-collaborate with them. Yeah. It's really
Yeah, I
beautiful.
know I've had a lot. I guess I reset it as instead of you being excited, it's more like energy and you get like amped up from
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's how you interpret it.
Yeah, it's like a building of energy, but it's not
Mm,
about me. It's about
mm,
them and maybe shifting and showing them another perspective.
mm.
And to me, that's what's so fun about being in this realm right now. There's a lot of perspectives going on all at once.
Oh yeah.
And as I witness it, I'm like, oh, what an honor to witness this right now. And I really truly I do. I honor all perspectives because I'm not in their shoes and they're where they are on a path of what has led them to where they are right now. And
Mm.
I always say chaos just means change is coming. So I
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
welcome the chaos because it's an energy. It means there's going to be a shift. And often without like division, we wouldn't have the coming what I to believe to be a unity at some point in my lifetime, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's quite profound how yeah, I can observe it without absorbing any of it. Like I don't take it
Mm.
on. And
Okay.
that's and even in groups of people, when I do the events, we have Egypt coming up in May.
Okay.
And it's a co-creation. I don't have this strict schedule. We're going to do this, then this, then this, then this, and you check it off the list and you're done. And this is more about let's sit in here for a while. Let's feel the energy in this space and what
Mm,
comes through for you. What are you connecting with? And everyone puts on these leather slippers
mm,
and we wear slippers the entire time so we stay really connected to earth, really grounded in. And so it allows you to actually perceive in a different way when you're able to do that. Of course, you and I both have winter and it's hard to be barefoot all the time.
yeah. Yeah.
But if you met me in the summer and I was running around doing painting things, I'm wearing flip-flops and they're coming off as much as possible. If there's like nice grass there and I'm just or else plug down on somebody's lawn and just have a little sit in with the nature there and observe that. And it's just very
Okay.
regulating for the body. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll just do a little intro in, and then
Okay.
I'll ask you about a little bit about your background, how you got to this, and
Okay.
then I'll launch into. Well, I have some questions to kind of keep me on track
Of
because
course.
sometimes you get, but sometimes what I've noticed is sometimes you have to follow wherever the conversation is going because sometimes the question, sometimes because when you do questions in advance, a lot of them presuppose your own beliefs. But if my beliefs are wrong or not aligned with what you're talking about or what the person is talking that you're interviewing is going, or you might think something wrong, maybe not wrong, but something incorrect
Yeah.
or something that's not. So you have to kind of pivot because that happened on my one interview, and I had to kind of most of my questions were kind of irrelevant, So so
I yeah, when I'm doing interviews with people, we usually have a topic, like here's the one topic, and
mhm.
then whatever comes through. Because so maybe about well, you go ahead and I'll do that as part of my intro.
Okay, okay,
Hmm.
okay. Welcome to the Question Everything podcast. I'm David Dye, and with me I have Tanya Powell. And right now, I want to ask her a little bit about her background. First of all, I want to thank you for appearing on Question Everything podcast.
Thank you for
And
having me. It's an honor. Yeah.
so, right now, a lot of people may not be familiar with you, but I want to know a little bit about your background. Give us a little bit about your background and how you got into, this whole thing that you're doing now.
Yeah, I'll synthesize it as efficiently as possible.
Okay.
So I was born in Vancouver, Canada. I'm one of the few that actually still resides. I live in North Vancouver, so I'm over on the side of a mountain. And I've always been a pretty full on person, living life large. If you follow any astrology, I am a Leo. I have Cancer rising in Libra, and that would be in the Western astrology. And I've had many different connections and readings. They all pretty much say the same thing. So I'm pretty courageous, pretty fearless. I've done a lot of extreme sports over the years. I used to be in the snowboard industry. So I've done some heliboarding. I got into rock climbing, wakeboarding, mountain
Okay.
biking, anything that had me competing with me. Because to me, I played basketball in high school and I went, I don't like this. Um, Pardon my French, but they're all a bunch of bitches. Where's the team? There's no team. And so I think I ended up with like a bit of a broken nose and I had like a split on my lip from them just being like the way they were. And I was like, I'm out. This is not my sport. And then I started skiing when I was about 18. I'm like, oh, this is my jam. And then it just snowballed from there. So I've lived all over BC. My father did road construction. So I was really used to being dropped into new places and having to, you know, perceive, adjust, tweak, fit in. And I ended up moving back down to Vancouver and then up to Whistler and got really heavily into the snowboarding industry. And it's a lot of fun and play, but nobody ever grows up in that business. And that's okay. So I actually don't do the extreme sports anymore. I've slowed down. I am 55 now. And I'm really connecting with myself in a different way now. So instead of that competition with self, can I do this? Can I get better? And I know my vessel, my body really, really well. I'm very connected to it. I'm able to do good balance moves and mountain biking. We have the hardest mountain biking in the world here. And I pick it up no problem because it's all about balance and about knowing your body and how to move and when to maybe not go. And so after going through all that and leaving retail, I was like, I don't want to do retail anymore. Retail can be really exhausting and you're really controlled by hours and performance. You're put on a stage every day. So I was the general manager, the buyer, and the merchandiser of the snowboard shop. And it was when snowboarding just kicked in and we went from 700,000 to 7 million in 7 years. And then I went, I'm out. It's not my business. I've been growing your business. It was fun. I had a great time. I need to do something different. And somehow I ended up in painting because I was always good at it. And then I see the cross correlation because everything's about energy, the feel, the color. And for me, sales isn't about selling people stuff, it's about educating people. And that's all I did. That's all I've done. I've been in retail since I was 13 up until that time. And so I'd be painting and watching what was happening in people's homes and was like, why are people being treated this way in their own home? Nobody was showing up and they said they would. They weren't following through and getting done what they needed to do. Maybe they were a little bit messy and always leaving a bit of a mess behind. Where I had such honor being allowed in somebody's home because it's their safe space, it's their comfort zone. And so that really brought me to where I am now. And I learned probably about 10 years ago after I hit a max kind of process of bootstrapping this business and taking it up to like 40 employees at one point and doing the thing, right? Making sure, oh, I'm a success, but I was so burnt out and I wasn't happy. And I hired a really good coach to help me systemize the business. But he said one thing to me during that coaching process. It was a whole company, and the master coach, I was saying, I'm just so busy and I couldn't think straight and my brain was fried. I had adrenal fatigue. I was toast. I'd really fried my system. And he said, oh, you're such a powerful manifester. Those words you're saying, your brain's listening and it's giving you what you've been asking for. And that was like a light bulb went off. And I ended up going down a rabbit hole just around that because I'm the ever want to learn. I love learning. I think that's why we're here and we're continuing to grow. And if you're not, then you're stagnant and you start to deteriorate mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I went on to explore Mind Valley. Marissa Peers, I did a course and she does a lot of hypnotherapy. And then I ended up at one of the events for Mind Valley because I thought, oh, this personal development's really good here. And I went to one of their events. I ended up signing up to be a master certified trainer with them and hosting seminars here in Vancouver, as well as doing the painting company, which was running much smoother by now. And so I was getting to do some stuff for self, which was really cool. And what I noticed during that time was, oh, nobody wants to come for the content I was supposed to be showcasing. They came for the connection. They were all on this personal development path, expansion, and so I'd put everyone in a circle and we'd all have these beautiful conscious conversations. And that's how Adventures for Connection was born because people were looking more for connection than they were for material and learn this. No, we already know that. We've read Vishen's book. We don't need this. And so it was really wonderful because you weren't attracting newbies, new people per se. We were attracting those that were already established. And so, in continuing my quest for knowledge, I have done quantum level 1 and 2. Before that, I'd done Reiki, and I learned a lot about the energy and what's going on with the body, what's going on around us, what might influence us. And I did a few years of that practicing until one time a girlfriend said to me, she said, I always feel so good after I leave for like 3 or 4 days from one of your sessions. And then I go like this. And I was like, oh, I'm not like the chiropractor. I don't want you back here every week wanting. I didn't want that. So then I started to, oh, I need to apply to get people to balance their own energy and how to learn to sit with themselves and how to learn about their body. And most recently, I've been studying all about the bio that we're more of a battery, we're bioelectric than we are chemical. There is a chemical component, but we're much more bioelectric. And so that's been my current learnings, which correlate to Egypt, which is really interesting because we go there in May. And Egypt is a map for the human body and how to utilize the sun and nature to become the best version of ourselves. Yeah. So there's the short of it. That's the ride so far.
Okay.
Yeah. And the future is actually, I do believe we're all souls having a human experience. Energy can't be created or destroyed. I think I went through like a whole winter of watching near death experiences just to better understand what people were perceiving and what they were seeing, and it helps to shift your perspective when you do that. So I also did subconscious reprogramming. So
Okay.
I got a lot of tools in my toolbox per se, but I did that to myself to better understand. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to see the whole picture, so to speak, of this energetic realm, I like to say. And so now it's like, oh, this is the best adventure game ever. And many are like, I don't know what you're talking about. This isn't fun. And sometimes it's not fun, but if you can perceive it that way and you don't get so attached to what's going on and you can just sort of pull back and observe it, knowing you're not the one speaking and you're not the one thinking, you're the one observing that. Yeah, it gives you a whole new perspective on life. Gives you a new lens. It's like putting on new glasses and going, oh, I can finally see properly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. So there's the short of it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cliff Notes version.
Right? I know it's hard. I like stories. Stories are fun.
Yeah, yeah. Very experiential. People learn a lot more from stories than they do from you just, textbook, fact, fact, fact.
I didn't. The only reason I actually stayed in high school was because we were a pilot program for our province, which is like a state in the US, for entrepreneurship, grade 11
Okay.
and 12. That is the only reason I stayed in high school because I was like,
Mm,
man, this ain't going to help me. I just knew. I'm like, nope, not taking that on. Nope, no, I don't want to study that. So it was interesting. So those of us that know, we weren't memorizers. We didn't fit in. we
mm.
didn't we didn't follow the herd. In fact, most of the time I'd be like, but what's going on over there? Everyone just ran that way, but look, there's a whole space over here. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
Um,
extreme sports did that for me for not having
okay.
fear.
Sure. Yeah. They don't call it extreme for nothing.
Right, yeah.
So,
And it was testing myself constantly, so
okay.
yeah, I know my edges.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I noticed on your website sometimes you talk about uh, I guess a dichotomy between recognition versus belief.
Hmm.
And
But
now,
go ahead.
yeah, what does that mean to telling it to like lay people or people that haven't really heard about this distinction between, recognition versus belief and how
Yeah,
it applies
so
in their lives?
right. So one can believe something from someone else telling them, like your parents or a teacher or a religion or work, and that becomes, oh, those are my parameters, so to speak, right? And quite often there are people that also, will do great studying and reading, but are they going out and seeing and applying and recognizing those patterns or those beliefs happening in others? And so I find that beliefs are really often inherited, as I said, and absorbed through especially culture, social consensus. Like you want to fit in. I think all children come into this world as pure love. And then as we get a little bit older, we're like, your parents are teaching you rules. You can't behave this way. You need to do this. And so it starts to construct your reality and how you're willing to respond, adjust. And so, for those of us that had a lot of trauma in our early years, we're really good at being chameleons and adapting and checking and watching and being on high alert, which was one of my, so it can be a gift and a curse, really, because it can be quite depleting until you realize it and then you can work with it. Recognition comes through direct observation, more embodied, like you're feeling the experience versus just using your head. You're now connecting with the body around it. And you're really allowing it to work through you more through coherence or incoherence. So if you say, so I'll use myself as the example. When I went to Mind Valley, I had a lot of beliefs that what they were doing was fantastic and this is such a good place to be and hang out. And then I did a month in Croatia. And because I was so in tune with energy, I took one walk into the main building they had and I just went, whoa. I could feel the density and the heaviness. And I'm like, what's this building used for? Oh, this is where all the veterans always meet. I was like, the war veterans? Yes. Oh, did anybody clear the space before you started hosting people in here? No. I was like, ooh. So it was that was like just one little inkling that I just started to really observe everything more that way. And I was never that in tune with energies before. And because I was now, I was hyper in tune with it in a way. And I was like, interesting. And then every event, and as you know from history, maybe from politics, every event somebody would stand on the stage, tell their hero's journey or heroine's journey to where they got, and then, oh, come be like me, come learn what I did, right? So you too can have this. Except I believe that we're actually ever so unique that it can't be repeated. You can learn and take pieces and parts and maybe implement if you choose and it lights you up. But I really felt I was like, oh, and I kind of just moved on past that. And then some rules came in about how I had to do the events. And I just decided, oh, this isn't for me anymore. Interesting. So you go through these stages, and a lot of people like to, yeah, like to look at it that way. I have no judgment at all. I think it's a wonderful place for those that are where they're at, and it was a beautiful stepping stone for me. And that's how I look at most things in life. So at one point, it was a belief that it was an amazing, fantastic thing, but the more I experienced it, the more discoherence I felt, the more I went, oh, interesting that I don't feel the same way anymore. And so I'm really open in that way to allowing people to have their beliefs, because only once they choose to change it will it change. If their belief is so strong, they're willing to argue for it. Even if, but if they recognize that, oh, everyone's having this experience and you go out and you experience these things. And I look at everyone like a mirror. You'll like attracts like. And so you get these mirrors happening for you depending on what you maybe need to have a look at. And so, in going about in life, I see a lot of discoherence within people, but they still have these really strong beliefs. And that's okay. That's where they're at. But in that push pull that they're going to start to feel from their body to their mind, that's when the chaos begins and that's when change happens. So, yeah, you could once you recognize it more, once we're not looking at changing somebody's belief system for rebellion's sake. I know through COVID, there was a real polarity around get the shot, don't get the shot. And I was like, just
Mm.
let everybody do what they want to do. But it was interesting because I really feel that was the beginning of this little bit of chaotic shift that's happening. And now it's quite political and blown up even further. Beliefs can create attachments to things, especially around family, and again, until it doesn't. And so, being 55, I really found that going through what we like to call menopause, and men go through it too, midlife crisis, it's an initiation, in my opinion, to look at things in a different way, to stop people pleasing and giving it all away. And in that people pleasing, you're trying to fit in, you're trying to be liked. So, you're looking outside of yourself to feel better about yourself. But what if you just felt better about yourself no matter what was going on outside? And I think that's kind of a place many of us are coming to, and no longer um, having to go along to get along, right? It's okay that we
Mm.
have different So we're seeing this bigger division, but in those beliefs and in that reflection that's happening right now from everyone, we're going to find at the end of the day, we all want the same thing: peace, harmony, to be able to afford food, to contribute, to be, to have a roof over our head. The basic fundamental needs for a human are the same. And so, yeah, that was a little more than you probably asked for. Now you're getting to know me.
Yeah, well, you're very expressive, so.
Yeah, and these are just my opinions, right? Or my from my experience. Yeah. So, it's
So,
been
Pete,
it's been
mm,
a journey.
yeah, I could tell. So, well, I think what happens with a lot of people, though, you're talking about people going on their journeys and things. They have their belief systems and things, but I think the problem comes in when people, what they believe and people, the way they operate, doesn't lead them to the outcomes that they're looking for.
Very
So,
true.
so
Yeah.
how do you help people actually start to align, I guess, their beliefs or get rid of the beliefs that don't serve them and
Yeah.
actually use the recognition to actually figure out what they really want and leave all the other stuff behind? How do you help people get past that to, improve their, I guess, their
Yeah.
thinking process so that they can get the things that they really want out of life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the things, it depends on their nervous system. And so right away, when I get on with someone, I can tell whether they're out of alignment, in alignment. Many are worried about many things and they're spinning in their heads. And so the first thing we'll do is a little guided meditation with them. And then I let them tell a story about where they're at, why they're there, and listen to hear, not to react. Listen to hear and then respond again using a little bit of NLP. So I'm reflecting back to you and why, and then the questions. Because if you ask questions in the right way, people may start to shift their own beliefs. And so, we went through, I'll use medical as an example. I have a lot of people that come to me for medical things that they're struggling with in their body. And once we get to the root of it, it's generally stems from childhood. It's generally trapped emotions. A lot of it is stored within the body. So if we look at the body as always giving us the information, I look at it like a lot like, say, a car, right? And your car is telling you if something's wrong, especially these days. But and your body is too, but can you hear it? And so I get them to sort of learn to connect with themselves more and tend to create a guided custom meditation for them. So then I kind of put the ball in their court. We mirror, we go through some things, we ask some questions. I give them some things to focus on, which quite often is, what is your daily habits? What are you going through each day? Like, how do you start your day? How do you end your day? And what's going on in between? Because then we could just drop in little reset points. And right, if and getting them to trust themselves. It's quite often they've learned to just trust outside so much more than themselves, when really they do have all the answers within if they can get quiet enough to hear it. So it's about, a lot of it's around regulating the nervous system and calming it down and showing them other ways. Quite often, when people are trying to figure out what to do next, now ask them what they did as a child. Ask them,
Hmm.
what did you do as a child? What did you play? What did you have fun with? And for myself, I had a younger brother that was 4.5 years younger than me that I was responsible for watching quite a bit, especially outside. And he liked to play with those little matchbox cars. And so him and I would get down and dirty and build all these roads and get really creative with it. And I'd be all in on the architecture side. But when it came to actually just playing the game, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'm out. And so the same thing like that with, when a friend of mine had miniature horses and she had like thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm like, wow, I'm so lucky to get to go and play with her stuff because it's a really expensive set she's got. And so we'd set up the stables and the barn and same thing. As soon as it was all set up, I'm like, no, I don't want to play anymore. I must have been like the worst friend or worst sister to them because I just couldn't. I'm more of an architect. I like to see the big picture. So this is sort of my wheelhouse. And I realize that now. And I'm like, oh, I'm really good about setting up these events and hosting that energetic container and then just observing and allowing everyone to create together. Because when you feel safe and held in a container, and that's what people also get from me one on one, they get seen, they feel heard, and all of a sudden they calm right down. Just being me. What do you want to share? And quite often tears come and they just have a release. And by having that release, the nervous system. So by the time they're done with me, they feel much calmer. I give them a custom meditation to continue with and say, when you're ready, we can reach back out. Yeah. And I do some free group lives as well. We talk about the energies of the moment, and I just let people ask questions. I don't need to stand on a soapbox. I love listening to people's stories. I think it's so much fun. Yeah. Yeah. There's always nuggets in there that you get to reflect back to them. And they're like, oh, yeah, I did say that. Oh, yeah. They just see it from a different, they see themselves from a different perspective.
Mhm.
And there's so much power and a gift within that itself. Yeah.
So some of the things you talk about, I also notice on your site is that you describe language as architecture. Now, how do
Yeah.
definitions shape perception and consent, in your opinion?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you know what etymology is?
Yes.
Yeah, you do. Of course you do. I knew you would. Yeah. So, for those that don't know, etymology is the study of ancient words and how they've shifted and changed over time, including the meaning, including the meaning. So, as we go through and, let's use, you know, I love to say grand rising or rising grand has a much more uplifting feel to it than good morning. I'm
Right.
like,
Yeah.
but what are we mourning? Once you study etymology, you start to see the shift in words, and you're like, I don't like that word. That doesn't feel right to me. So I
Mhm.
always go by how you feel. And really, if you start to even observe the words you say to yourself are the most important ones. We always have this little inner critic. We're so hard on ourselves. But what if thoughts are not facts? What if we are a soul having a human experience and we have a collective consciousness and thoughts are kind of floating up there, and depending on where you're vibrating at, you're picking up some of those thoughts, just a thought, and some of them are in your own field. So when you start to do subconscious reprogramming and you start to go, but that's not true about me, thoughts are not facts. And so I would often liken thoughts to like clouds going by in the sky. And I'm like, interesting, I'm having that thought, but not attached to it. And as soon as you don't attach to it and don't ruminate, you find it, a thought will come and it will go. Or if it's a thought you don't like, I used to often go, no, thank you, and flick it away.
Mhm.
And then replace it with a positive, like a thought that is true and factual for me. Yeah. And so I find as we become more aware of this, and again, being the observer, that you can just witness these thoughts go by. And then the little tiny thoughts that come in when you're nice and calm and balanced, generally, are those like, oh, I never would have thought of that. That's not me. Where did that come from? And what should I do about that? That sounds really cool. Or the little hints and this intuition that many talk about, which is really a guidance system for you once your nervous system is calm. So words themselves, especially the ones you use against yourself. Yeah. And in a public sense, like I read contracts very, very carefully because quite often there's certain words and I'll cross out a word and replace it. It's your right as one signing and agreeing to what's on that document to maybe change some things about it. Yeah.
Mhm. Offer,
So,
counter offer.
right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And be very careful on what you consent to, especially in this day and age right now. I know a whole heck of a lot more than just etymology of words around that. So I've done a really big study on some of those processes in this field right now and the options that are out there right now. And so there'll be more coming on that soon as I kind of land in on some of it and see it in action and working.
Okay. Okay. Now, for people watching, now what are a few words that people use that quietly program them without their awareness? And how would you have them notice that these words so they can stop these,
Yeah.
cycles that don't, give them what they want?
Yeah. So some personal ones would be around, you know, if nobody had a mirror or a camera, nobody would give a shit about what they look like because it wouldn't be relevant, right? So
Mm,
that's one of the biggest ones is people are always so concerned about how they look. Am I too fat? I'm not good enough. Like I'm not good enough is a huge one because it's a way of suppression that's done within systems, school, especially like teachers can say some of the meanest things when you're growing up. And those, your little brain really locks those in and goes, oh, then I better just be quiet and never speak up again. Right. And so a lot of
mm-hmm.
people are afraid to speak what they're thinking and their truth. And so I would say some of the words, um, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I can't learn that. I can't public speak. Right. So it's, yes, you can. We're all actually equal, in my opinion. We've just all had these different experiences and we've been so programmed through the years to judge right away. And you can't help it. We can't help but have an opinion about somebody as soon as we see them, but we can withhold saying anything about it and judging them, right? Oh, interesting. I'm thinking that right now. See, right away, I knew you were a kind soul. I can see it in your eyes. So, and I knew we'd have a great conversation because I could feel your energy. I'm getting little tears in the corner of my eyes because we're connecting. And I know that that's a heart led thing. And so, a lot of people too about their health, their weight, since when, was everyone supposed to be the same shape and size? Since when were we women supposed to be, lean, mean fighting machines or skinny waifs, right? Like, hello, everybody's whatever you're comfortable with. So it's a matter of comfort for self. And I think those are some of the really big ones. And not believing in yourself to be able to go out on your own path and do things your way and be successful at it. Yeah. Having to stay in a job maybe or catering to family because it's family. Mm, that's a big one too. Yeah. So yeah.
So as
Anything?
far, hmm?
Hmm. Go
So
ahead.
okay. So as far as people seeking to gain control over some of these, thought habits they have, what do you think the first language habit they should change is?
Observing themselves. So one always goes to the breath first. Oh, interesting that I'm thinking that right now. Is that mine? Is that really true? And just starting to have this dialogue with your mind as if you're the observer and you're observing your own mind. You're observing your own thoughts. And quite often I'll ask people to write out, so what is true about that? So if this is the negative, what is the positive? What is the positive of that same thing? I want you to put that on a sticky note this week and put it right on the fridge, right? Or on a wall. So at one point during my subconscious reprogramming training, I had sticky notes all over the house, but I would move them to trick my subconscious into actually catching it and seeing it. Your subconscious is picking up millions of pieces of information per second. Think about driving the car somewhere and you're there and you're like, wow, I don't remember driving here. You kind of just checked out because it's something you're so comfortable and used to doing. So I call it drive-a-dating, almost like meditating and driving, right? So what can I think about
Mhm.
during this drive? Or go a different way so that you're more present. So it's about just questioning yourself. Why do you believe that? Where did that come from? And quite often you can find it. Teacher, parent, family, work. You'll find where it came from. And then once you do, you'd be like, but is that really true? Well, no, it's not. It's just sitting in there looking to be cleared. Your program needs a rewrite.
Definitely, definitely. I
Yeah.
think I know in my experience it's tough to kind of you have to really pay attention because a lot of those thoughts they just pop in your head and you so I guess you're so used to them until you
Yeah.
don't even think twice about it. You don't even critique it until, but like you say, if you actually maybe do a brain dump or you stop and actually pin that one thought down and write it down, now you can, you can work with it and kind of,
Yeah.
is this, like you say, is this true or is this false? Where did I get this from? Why do I believe this? You know, that can, I guess that can help you, break
Yeah.
that cycle of frustration that type of thought causes.
Yeah.
And
Just like the name of your podcast, question it, right? Like question
yeah,
it.
yeah, but I've been I just question everything from
Right?
an early age.
Yeah.
But when you were talking about the body though, because you know, we don't always think about our bodies like that. We just don't think about it. But like you say, it's connected to the energy.
Hmm.
And so, but what I've seen, and I guess what I'm trying to give to the audience is how can they figure out, or what do you, in your opinion, what are the common ways that people will override their body signals or not listen to them? And how they can, start to pay more attention to that. If, for somebody like watching now, what can they do right now to maybe, I guess, hit the pause button or something, say, and then find one of these thoughts and say, hey, well, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You catch that thought, that you have that stream of consciousness. And then you might pick one out and say, wait a minute. Or one might stand out to you, or you just become conscious of that one moment. You say, well, wait a minute. I thought such and such. Why do I think that? How do you recommend, give some the people something, a way they
Hmm.
can, do that right now from watching
Hmm. You have to be willing to slow down. We're often moving so fast in this day and age, and that busy is success, right? Being busy is successful. That was definitely one of my beliefs growing up, especially running my painting company. And so I had to learn to sit with myself. And to be able to question those things, you have to slow down a little bit and then pick one, pick two, write them down. You can put them all in a jar and oh, I'm going to sit down and think about this and have a cup of tea, or just sit on the couch for a few minutes, no phone, no computer, and just sit here and journal about this belief. And you might even choose to go sit outside, lean against a tree, and put some bare feet on the earth and ground your body in a little bit more, because your hands and feet are like terminals. And so if you're dysregulated, you're going to have a hard time doing this. So it's about that regulation, about being able to have a nice calm tea. We're all so used to getting up and getting jacked on coffee and then hit the ground running. Alarm goes off, get a shower, eat breakfast, get out the door, drive in traffic to get to work, and try and regulate yourself once you get to work. Well, you've already been through a lot of dysregulation. And so most people will have time maybe in the evenings, maybe before bed. They're kind of depleted now, they're tired, that they can take that time to maybe write down what's going through their head and then maybe just pick one to question. And it's things happen in micro changes make the biggest difference. We don't have to change everything at once. In fact, you're not going to. You're too habitualized in that system, in that way you've been. So you're doing, it's like, your whole car needs to be worked on. Well, you can't do that all at once. You got to do it in stages, because this needs to get done first, and then this, and then this. You need regular oil maintenance on it, right? You need new tires over every so many years. You need new shoes every so many years. So if you start to just go, oh, I don't have to fix this all today. I'm imperfectly perfect as I am. I'm not broken. I don't need fixing. I just need to get to know me. We've never taught, kids aren't taught to get to know themselves. They're taught and told how to behave. But if we could pull the gifts out of everyone, we wouldn't have this epidemic of living in the head and ignoring the body and treating the body like a secondary thing that we just assume. You're manifesting in every second of every day. You think you want to go get a glass of water and your body does it for you. You're not even, so this whole thing, that's a whole nother story, but just getting to know you and giving yourself those little pockets of calm and bringing that in and re-regulating, you will find that as you calm down, you actually get to perceive things differently. You will have a different perspective on something. And so even if you're triggered by something else, family is a good trigger. Think family table, meals, right? There's always a good trigger that happens. I used to there we go, bite my tongue, bite my tongue to not react to things. That was one of my biggest things to do that I came up with for self because I used to be super reactive, right? Like, oh, I'll show you. No, I'm right. Like, we have these things that happen in our life. And I used to just bite the tip of my tongue to keep me really present. And if it was on the phone, I would actually say, you know what? I got to go right now. We'll pick this up later because because I am fire, I'm very energetic and fire will just escalate. So we need the opposite to bring in some calm, which is often space, some air, some grounding, drink some water. Like and you can bring your energy down and realize, oh, my nervous system was just riled up based on the situation. You will never solve anything from a heightened sensation like that. So just learning to regulate yourself and what you need and really honoring that. You don't have to say yes to everything you're invited to. In fact, and you don't have to give an excuse either. I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. That's it. Yeah, I won't be able to make it. It doesn't work for my schedule. That's all you need to say. A lot of people want to give that excuse so somebody else hears them and understands what they're saying. And you just need to understand you and love you enough to have your own boundaries up there, which is what we're
Yeah,
really talking about. So, yeah, that's a really big encompassment of it, but it's all correlated so deeply within us. And the body is always listening, and the body is always keeping score. That's a true book. And your fascia, which is underneath the skin, like something's going to happen, and the hairs on your arms stand up before your mind ever clues in. Your body knows something, right? Your body knows something's up. And so we have a way of reading space. Like, you can walk in a room and somebody was arguing in there and nobody's arguing at that time. You just know. And so this is the kind of stuff we're learning to read for self. What do I need right now in this moment? Why is that thought ruminating in my head so much? It's trying to get my attention, so I'll actually stop and look at it so I can shift my belief around it.
great, great. And also on your website, I noticed that you talked about modern disorientation and how it's structural and cyclical. Now, what, in
Yeah.
your opinion, are the key drivers for this situation?
Ooh. Humans feel disoriented right now because the world they believe to be true, and there's that word belief. The world they believe to be true and how it operated is crumbling before their eyes. And a lot of it looks chaotic. And as we can witness this, social media is not social at all. It's part of a programming, and it's deeply programming people to be divided right now. Because when we're divided, we're easier to control, to sway a certain way. And as a collective consciousness, this is all about consciousness. There is a way to steer the consciousness. But when we reclaim it for ourselves, and no, I don't believe that. I don't need to witness what's going on in the world. I need to witness what's happening around me in my world, get off the devices and spend more time in nature, in community, and finding those people that are like-minded like you. You will find them because a lot of people won't stay on social. So you're not going to find that balance, that peace, that harmony you're looking for a lot of the time being on social media. And all you're doing is feeding your dopamine on a loop. And it was built that way. It was built that way to sway you. And so right now we've seen a lot of opening up on social media as the one example we're using about health things, about the education system, about politics, and they're as far wide as they can be on many of those topics. Because if you are discombobulated, you are much easier to control as well. You no longer know what to believe to be true. And
Hmm.
then you're seeking truth and you can't find it. But hey, wait, slow down. It's right here. It's right here. It's right here when you slow down enough. And so I believe that there's, and we look at the energetics of it, and whether you believe the earth is round or the earth is flat, you're right. It's your belief. It's right. So, and I look at the whole system. Let's talk about planets. Planets are energies. The sun is an energy. The one thing we can count on is that sun's going to come up every day on a cycle, right? And that the moon will rise at night on a cycle. And oh, that moon, it must be doing something because it's pulling the tides. We just had a new moon and it was a very low tide. And then I said that to my girlfriend on a walk last night. And I said, yeah, and on the high tide, we get a, we're at a full moon. And so there's this cycle that one can pay attention to. And then within the collective energies in the winter, it's we have shorter days. It's meant to go more inward. It's meant to, plant new seeds. And in the spring, we come out and blossom. To me, that's the new year. And so we look at these cycles within Earth, and nature is responding. Nature is doing, she's shifting, so to speak, and energies. And if everything is energy, then one thing we can count on is change. It's how do we handle those changes? And how do we regulate ourselves with no matter what's going on in the world? And that's probably where my biggest shifts were over the last 5 years. Was now I went down all kinds of rabbit holes because I was really curious about the collective and where it was at. And I was even a spiritual advisor for about a year in the truther community. And then eventually I was like, okay, now I know it. It's a psyop. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you. And then I went into the spiritual community and did the same thing. And I'm like, oh, it's a psyop too. And what is a psyop? A psyop is to make you believe one thing to be true when actually there can be many truths within it. But it's also a narrative to lead you a specific way. So you are looking outside of yourself still and not looking within. It's so well done. I'm like, wow, hats off, guys. Like, whoever created all this, wow. And then I often think, wow, it must be as a collective consciousness that we chose to come in this way and to come into this realm at this time to be able to witness and observe this great change. Childbirth is not smooth and easy for the most part. It's a little bit chaotic, but it is the most, as soon as that baby's in your arms, you ain't thinking about all the pain you just went through. And it's amazing what the human body does if you have a natural childbirth without the medications they want to give you and stuff. And you actually, I would say at home childbirth has become a really big new thing. Yeah, it's going to shift everything. And so we're just going through a bit of a rebirth as a collective right now, and we're in that
Mhm.
little bit of a messy middle.
Right. Okay. Now, for people watching, if they want to reclaim their inner authority this week, what is one assumption they should question and one practice that you think they should begin? Get that started.
Mm, mm. Your inner authority begins and ends with you. You're choosing to do what you do each day, whether it's a subconscious program or not. And so, what's one thing you could choose to do differently? And the one thing I always say, and these things are free. That's what's so beautiful about it. Your breath is free. It's like the universe expanding and contracting. Go to your breath. Close your eyes for even just a minute or count to 10 and just breathe in through the nose, fill the belly, breathe out through the nose a little longer than your breath in. That automatically calms the nervous system, the vagus nerve. And as soon as you do that a few times and you start to feel regulated, then your perspective changes and you shift. And so I'd say your breath is the most important single tool, and giving yourself the honor of actually being intentional and being present with it. And can you feel your heart? I can feel my heart beat, but it took a lot of practice getting there. to be still enough to actually feel it and go, oh, hi, there you are. And so quite often I will tap even just here and go, get out of your head, girl. Let's be right here. Let's be present in this moment with my body. Yeah. And nature always nurtures. Yeah, it's definitely my wheelhouse to be out in nature every day. I was out for an hour this morning before I came home to get ready to come on. Yeah.
All right. If people want to catch up, find out more about your work and maybe even book a session or do something
Mm-hmm.
with you, where would they go?
Mm-hmm. Adventuresforconnection.com. And I have you can look up my name, Tanja Powell, Tanja. I'm across platforms. I'm not on a regular, I'm promoting now. I'll just come on when I've got some words of wisdom that I feel need to be shared in the moment or a poignant time. Like we just had this beautiful eclipse and a new moon, a solar eclipse, a new moon, and the Chinese year of the fire horse kind of all day, like yesterday, just yesterday. And so I could feel those energies. So yeah, I don't chase around too much out there. So if you come into the website, we're opening a community group. I've got a membership that's free. So I'm going to be doing a lot more posting just on the website and then just to keep it in house, so to speak, so I can manage my own energy through the day even better. Yeah,
All right. Thanks a lot for coming on the Question Everything podcast. And I'm sure we'll talk again and do it again.
absolutely, David. I'd love to. Thank you. It was my honor. Yeah.
Okay. That's great. You have
Thank
a
you.
lot of energy, a whole lot of energy, but you kind of grounded too. You grounded. Yeah, I guess you have controlled energy.
Yeah. And I'm telling a story and like I get excited because I want people to feel like you can feel
Mhm.
like this too. You can have this too. And it's not
Well,
that I
that's
want you to come be like me. I want you to be yourself because there's so many gifts within you that I know you have. Like you are such a beautiful gift. Yeah, David, you
oh,
are.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
I think that's the main purpose of communication. Yeah, words are just tools to communicate the real feeling, but I guess we can't communicate the feelings directly, so we do the best we can with limited language.
for now.
Yeah, true, true. And
I have a feeling I know for a fact with my daughter that she seeds me with things that she wants. And then I
mm.
suddenly show up with them because I think it's my thought. It's her freaking thought that I picked up on. So
Yeah.
there is a little bit of telepathy for those you're like in closest resonance with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And you can test it too. You can test it and have a
My
certain thought.
my son told me something different. It's kind of the same thing because like if he'll come in the house and he won't say a word, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "Yeah." And then my mother do the same thing right after that. Dayon, are you okay? Yeah. And then later on, he tell me, "No, I was not okay," and I hate that y'all just know me so good. I don't even have to say nothing. Y'all already know there's something wrong with me, or that I'm going through something. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah. Let them know that sometimes talking about it and you just listening. Because when people vocalize, they hear it differently than when they're thinking it in their head.
That's true. I've noticed
I
that
talk
too.
to myself all the time.
Yeah, it really helps you a lot. Also, journaling works the same way. Journaling or
Yeah.
recording yourself talking, because sometimes I'll talk to the. Well, I was using Evernote, but they increasing the price so much, so I just bounced over to Microsoft's OneNote,
Yeah.
which does base a lot of the same things. And you just
Yeah.
start talking, and if you go back and listen, you'll start to get you'll hear things you didn't know you said until you review it. It's
Yeah. I
kind of
pulled offline for 9 months and I'm barely back on because I was doing two lives a week
mm,
and it became too much like a job. I was like,
mm.
oh no, this. And then as soon as I pulled off the social media, of course my mind starts going, oh, but you're going to lose followers. Oh, you're going to lose what you gained. And I was like, oh, that just means I need to be off even more. So I had the capacity to recognize that, and I was like, damn, like it's a serious. there's some serious challenges in there. So yeah, it's a whole new world. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that little voice, man, it just talks to you all the time. But I think what was I listening? I can't remember where I heard it. The guy would say, "Hey, first of all, that little voice is not you. It's not
Right?
you.
No,
And then it's not even your friend because a lot of times it's telling you all this stuff that you don't probably don't need to hear."
it's like old programming that's coming up to be cleared. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I definitely went through the gamut. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I'm very grateful to be here right now in the capacity that I am and how far I've come. So, yeah, I've been everything from being the one that doesn't fit in from a young age is
Mhm.
very hard on you, right? You don't
Yeah.
feel like you. My I can remember my dad like deeply programming me like you're never going to amount to anything. You're not good enough.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it was deep.
Mm-hmm.
And so as that played out, I mean, I went through a whole life from like drinking and doing drugs and I've been through the whole gamut. And but I would never know what I know now if I hadn't. I have
Exactly.
so much compassion for those that are living on the streets right now because they don't want to fit in the system and they're a little bit broken. They just need to be seen and heard a lot of the time and have somewhere they can go and safe and not feel controlled by it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Very
So
true.
sometimes
Very
it
true.
pays to be that outsider. Yeah. How old's your son?
He's 31.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
It's a tough time right now. Like I look at my daughter who's 20 and I'm like, she's not fitting in the system. She never did, right?
these days, that might be a good thing because the system is collapsing, or
Yeah,
maybe not collapsing. What the old system is collapsing and it's
it's
metamorphosizing into something new.
it's a controlled demolition. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, like
Exactly.
I definitely witness what goes on both sides through the truther witnessing and you
Mm.
know knowing what I know now. So here's what I know now is that the system itself has been a controlled mechanism that again I think we agreed to. So I think it
It's
was
no doubt.
brilliant what they did, right?
Yeah,
But
devilishly brilliant.
ooh,
Mm.
I tell you, if that was for good, imagine where we might be. And so that's
Exactly.
what I
Yeah.
look at, how dark we can go and how light. What is the opposite of that? We're just on our way to get up there and it's gonna and it might take something big happening that the whole collective, like I do really compare this to Hunger Games. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, there's a dome, things are localized, there's
Mm-hmm.
energies, there's definitely movements. We're shifting, like there's something rotating around us that the sun comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do I think quantum technology and the double slit experiment really proves that we're actually, you know, I
It's a
believe we're all
holographic universe.
holographic
It's
universe. My
projected. It's
eyes
coming
are
from the inside. It's not
exactly.
out. There's no outside out there.
And most people can't hear that yet. They don't get it. But because you've studied so much, I know you get it. I
Well, it took me a
also,
while to wrap my mind around that one, though. But
yeah, it does. It does. And the collective agreement that we have, I'm like, wow, this is an amazing system. But how profound when you realize you're not just a one and done human. Oh, like that for me was like, whoa. And it took a long time to get it to really be embodied and bring in more of my soul energy, so to speak, so I could be a little more vibrant and shine even brighter.
Mhm.
Um, but I did go down the path. I'm a secured party creditor right now. Do you know what that
Okay.
is?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I did do that path.
Okay.
I'm in the
Okay.
midst of settling debts right now.
Okay.
My one
Now, is
year
it
is up.
working for you?
So far it's working for me, but it's work. It's a job. I
Right.
created,
Right. This
I
no
took,
free lunch. There's no free.
there's no free
Everything has a
lunch. I
cost.
took on another business. I have written off about 100 grand in debt.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's pretty cool because I was said, I'll go first, I'll test it because I didn't have fear.
Mm. Right.
But most recently, what's come on the radar is moving back onto the land. So taking
Okay.
yourself out of the maritime law, out of their system
All
completely,
right. All
and
right.
putting yourself back on the land, which it's not perfected either. So I'm in a hold pattern around that. I'm like, Canada is not even close to what Australia's got it nailed and the
Okay.
US has it nailed, but there's a lot of infighting because nobody's cluing in that this is about so much more than just I want abundance. I want money. So a lot
Well,
of people, that needs to shift, I think, too. So yeah, it's a freaking interesting game. And I just don't have any fear because I'm like, it's game. So what's the worst they can do, right?
right.
So I'm
Yep.
playing by the rules. I'm making sure I'm doing everything with truth, honesty, and integrity, even if I don't want to. And but I'm making sure I get that paperwork out and I'm doing it on right. Like
Okay.
it's
Okay.
constant registered mail.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, but also because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not so affected as if you were somebody in
Right.
a job per se that you
Right.
had to make sure that you weren't losing what you had. Or my mom who's retired, who's living
Mm.
off those funds right now. I'm like, no, don't do it yet. Wait. My daughter, for example, I'm like, you're the beneficiary. Just wait. We got this. So I think we'll see some really big shifts coming up. I did buy XRP, for example,
Okay.
but
Okay.
I think that's the new rails of the new system, but it's still their system.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to play in that system, and it's still air and not tangible. So, I'll let it launch out if it does. And I didn't put enough into it to like lose everything, but there's a lot of
Mm.
people banking on that. And I'm like, cool guys. So I'm more about boots on the ground, out in nature, connecting with people, human to human. Yeah. And online like this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. They don't
Yeah.
want that though, because that's where all our power is, and us all working together.
Yeah, yeah, it'll come. I'm collecting matriarchs right now, the
Okay.
women in their third act of life who actually have some funds to invest to
Mm.
start buying some of these properties in different areas to be off grid and
Okay.
let them come together and then
Mm.
let families come in, those that are ready, and create a real common unity that everyone participates and everyone gets to be feel seen, heard. Yeah, little, and I'm
Okay.
just the architect. I can see them. I can see 11 around the world. I'm like, oh, ding, ding. Okay. And so by doing the secured party creditor, I did get my US EIN 98.
Mm.
So I can do
Okay.
global stuff.
Oh,
So
okay.
so I'm just being conscious of like I don't take steps too quickly, but if I
Mm.
have that ability, that means then I can go and buy property in Greece and I won't have an
Okay.
issue. I can open a bank
Mm.
account there, no problem. So I'm just observing all of it right now and not taking too big of steps because things are changing so quickly that
That's
I
true.
don't even know if that's how it'll play out yet. So I just
Yeah,
trust.
nobody knows. Well, most of us don't know. I guess the people designing it have an idea of what they're trying to create, but
Yeah,
things can be unpredictable.
things can be unpredictable. And that's one thing you can definitely count on.
That's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's funny because I go into the medical system and there's no flag on me there. I've left the
Mm.
country several times. There's no flag on me there.
That's
So,
good.
so far, so good. I do owe
Mm.
some taxes. They're not coming after me. So that's a good sign. I'm just
Mm.
looking at
Mm.
what's reflecting back to me and I'm like, okay,
Mm.
okay, I got this. I'm dancing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm dancing. I got moves. Oh, yeah. Do you have any other kids?
That's my only kiss right now.
Yeah, I only got
So,
one, two. One was enough. One was enough. I feel like I got lots of kids because I do have a pretty big group of friends and we all think very similar. We're all in
okay, that's
alignment. I do
good.
have a
That's good.
Telegram group, but I'm looking to pull that to the website. I'm trying to get it so it's all in one spot. And then
Okay.
for selling
Okay.
my mom's condo right now, because I don't think the
Mm.
market's going to last. In fact, I think we should
Right.
get out while you can. And she's
Yeah.
only just agreed to it. So I was like, oh,
Mm.
she's flipping. She's changing. Buy a motorhome and go
Okay.
traveling.
Okay. Okay.
So, and I'll be recording that as well. So that should be
Okay.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
The trials and tribulations of Tanya. Yeah. If I wanted to be tested, that's the true test, right? Traveling with family.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of those are the best memories too. So, yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So we might be out your way. You never know.
Hey.
Yeah. Yeah. The idea is to just go travel around, head south, maybe for next winter and
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
see what trouble I can get up to and who I can
Get
connect
away
with.
from the snow.
Since I know what I know about the eyes and projectors, but also taking in the pre-dawn light, there's a fellow
Mm.
Jack Cruz, which I really, really like, he's taken, he's a neurosurgeon. And
Okay.
so in his studying of neurosurgery, he came up to all these things about the eyes and what's going on with the eyes. We have more mitochondria around our eyes, so it's collecting the energy for the body.
Mm,
And
mm,
so you don't crave coffee in the morning, you're craving that light.
mm,
And
mm,
I'm the person that always lost sunglasses, never could wear a hat. And
mm,
I love being barefoot and in the sun. I'm like, yeah, this is my jam. So yeah,
okay.
definitely. I don't want to be here. Yeah, it's too cold this morning to go and put my hands on the tree.
Yeah, I know it gets pretty cold up there, man.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm not on the East Coast. It's way colder on the East Coast.
Okay,
You
okay.
couldn't pay me to live there. I'm on the West Coast or the wet coast. It rains here more. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And there's my daughter. Oh, she's bringing in. Oh, no, you go ahead. Thank you, though. All right, I'll let you go, David.
All right, it was
Oh,
great talking to you. I'm
you
sure
too.
I'm gonna reach out again to
Yeah,
interview you again sometime.
yeah.
Also, did you want me to send you the raw footage while this recording? I can do that, so
That
you
would
can
be
use it
great.
for.
And I'll do some clips and even push it out
Okay,
there. So make sure you put some links with it as well. And are
okay.
you working with people? Or are you just talking right now?
I talk in Jay's. He has the people that are doing the training. They help manage all the other stuff on the back end. I guess I'll be doing a little bit on the back end. I may have to do a little editing when I
Yeah.
upload the videos and stuff, but I don't think they're not quite done with my website. They should be done pretty soon. Once they do that, then I'll be able to. I'll put my website on there and everything,
Yeah.
links, and I think I got most of my social media already set up. I just haven't been hitting it yet because I don't have anywhere to send them yet to the
Are you
website.
coaching or guiding people?
It's funny you mentioned that because I got to working back and forth with the AI and it was telling me, oh, you should teach this, you should do this, you should have a group doing this. So it's telling me all this stuff, but I'm going to see what my mentor says first, what Jay tells me to do first. But
Yeah.
it's something possible, even if I don't do it personally, I could bring in subject matter experts, to teach people various things.
Yeah,
Have a program
absolutely.
to do that because, I got all this, I've been studying all this stuff for all these years,
Exactly. And
you
so
know.
part of that, I believe, when we consume information, so it's in this consumption mode that it's got to come out somehow. And so now you're expressing it, which is really good. I have
Yeah.
my secondary trustee is a brainiac. She studies information like you wouldn't believe. We
Okay.
call her Norma Stein. Her name's Norma. We call her Norma Stein.
Yeah, I've been called Brainiac before too, so
Yeah, so you know
I
it.
can
And so
relate.
part of
Yeah.
that is an expression. So what do you do for do you how do you pay the bills?
I'm on my pension right now. I was a chemist for the water department.
Yeah.
And before that, I went to med school for a year. I was a chemistry major in undergrad.
You got the
So
mixing things up. You know how to mix it up.
yeah, and then for years I worked. It's funny you started talking about secure party creditor because I was working with my business partner. She died in what was it, 2019, 2020, and she was like this guru with this all this law stuff. So she was living with us. She we was working with Gene Keating and
Mhm.
Pastor Tony King and what's his name, Jack, the guy who had did the radio show. What's his name, Jack Smith, I think is his name. He died
Yeah.
too though.
Yeah.
But we were dealing with them, and then she would speak all, and then we would working with creditors and commerce before they all end up in jail.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't
Yeah.
work with them too much though, but they, you know, it's so easy to just start doing stuff, but then if they target you, it's hard,
Yeah.
it's hard to figure the stuff out sometimes and
Well,
then
and I
they,
make sure. So to me, it's still part of the system
oh yeah,
because
yeah,
now you're a trust asset manager and you're doing that full time. So you're still
mm-hmm.
contributing in a way to their system. I was like, oh, you sneaky buggers. So once I saw that, then I was like, okay, so what would the solution to be to just be on the land, to be a human being? Well, that'll be this new land stuff coming up, which is, in my opinion, um, it's more like in line with that. but I still haven't figured it all out, so I don't speak about it very much. But
Well, but I
allegedly, they're
learned.
even saying like there's another um, they've got MasterCard on board now, and there's a way to utilize said funds, and we will get back.
Mm,
And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna wait and see somebody do that because I already went down the secure party creditor path, and that
mm,
wasn't what I
mm,
was told it was going to be.
mm,
So you can eventually leverage it. I've got the contacts for that, and thankfully mine was done right. I did
mm,
hire secured Make Freedom to do it. So I paid
mm.
someone else to do all the paperwork because I was like, I don't
Okay,
want to make
okay.
one single mistake. One little
Right,
mistake,
right.
and you are out. And especially if you start to commingle, being the
Yeah,
trust asset
that's when you go to
manager,
jail.
that's when you go to jail. And that's where I'm being extremely cautious. So I know I still have to pay taxes, even though it's like, no, you don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm like, no, if I don't do it, if I don't at least file the taxes, then I'm out of alignment. And so this is why when I have somebody like Normstein and she keeps studying, she's like, gotta do this. We gotta make sure we do this. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens next.
It depends. As far as when you're talking about going on the land, I know in the United States, it probably happened everywhere else. See, your legal system is based on the monetary system and legal system are all based on, it depends on what they're based on. Like
Common
when,
law.
when it was gold and land and that kind of thing,
Mm,
that's when it was a physical system. But when they went to the fiat currency, now everything that's the imaginary system. So they can't recognize each other. That's why they're technically they don't really deal with you in the
yeah,
flesh when you go to court. That's why they have the juristic person or the
yeah,
straw man or whatever you want to call
yeah,
it. You know,
yeah,
it's a lot of different interpretations on that, whether or not you're being the trustee or the beneficiary,
yeah,
or
yeah. You
whatever.
gotta
But
you gotta tread very like I'm not running. I'm just beginning now. I set up the soul prop, and then
mm,
I've got documents and documents like listed of things that I've spent as the living person, right? But and
mm,
so it's just a matter of space and time. And again, it's that constant quest for knowledge about so how do we guide people moving forward? Because nobody wants to play this game anymore as they
yeah,
realize what's true about it. And so I do believe there will be a way to be on the land or to operate a church, right? Like so literally it's kind of like, oh, there's and when you know there's it's flooded right now, especially I'm like, oh, they let everybody on social media and they're not taking any of these people down. There's something to that. Like all of a sudden you see Yusef out there, he can post whatever he wants, and so's
mm,
doing this, and she's posting whatever she wants to say, and
mm,
they're not being targeted at all. Interesting.
yeah, because it's all being But
Hmm.
I don't know. One of the things I figured out or didn't figure out, I came across was that the irrevocable trust.
I have that.
But you have but you have to do it a certain way
I did
to
that. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Everything's listed in the trust protected. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. And now it's a matter
I'm not
of
surprised.
yeah. So any questions you have, I do have a lot of knowledge. And Norma Jean's from the US. She's in Georgia.
Okay, okay,
She just went back to Georgia. Yeah.
okay.
She came and explored life with me. We went to Egypt 2 years ago with a
Oh,
group,
okay.
and then we went to Greece, and then
Mm,
we spent some time down in Mexico. So she's soul family. We've
okay,
done work together in other lifetimes. So we just
okay,
automatically
okay.
super comfortable, like so you know it's not so much about the family you came into and in with
Mm,
as it is much about the soul family, the family you resonate with, and this connects,
exactly.
and we're
Yeah.
so strong together. This group coming to Egypt this time is very powerful.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got a really powerful group coming in. I'm like, whoo, yeah. So it'll be beautiful. Yeah, awesome.
All right. I
Well,
won't take
enjoy
up
your
too
day.
much of your time. We could probably talk another hour.
I know, right? We got lots in common.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
grateful you reached out.
me
Yeah,
too. What
yeah,
I'll do is when I guess I'll send the video and the transcript to you on I was using WeTransfer.
yeah. You can
So
also just send me the Zoom link and I can grab it from there and download it.
oh, okay. I didn't
If you just
think
put
about it.
share this, you can just share it and put my email in there. It'll pop up for me and I can grab it, drop it in mine, and download it.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
learning.
super easy. There you go. Yeah, I use StreamYard a lot too, but
Do
that's to go
you?
onto different
Okay.
platforms. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll
I
have to
used
have you
to
on.
okay. I used to use GoToWebinar.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
good, but it's just so expensive.
Yeah. So is StreamYard. It's not cheap, but I like it
Mm.
because it does AI clips right there and then.
Oh, okay.
So it's like everything's getting better, like the tech we've got. And then I keep saying, all right, this tech is all old because I just want my walk around screen that can be with me anytime
Hmm.
and add this and do this and tell it what to do and oh and
Mm.
check in about this and send Norma a message about this and share this file with her. So I know the capacity that we have moving forward because we had it before. Yeah. I wouldn't be coming up with them. I'm not making this shit up. I know that because I keep getting, oh, why is it so clunky? Like I keep having that feeling. So
Mm.
yeah, we'll see what happens next. Yeah. All right, David. Have a
All
beautiful
right.
day.
All right. You
Thank
too.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.